Hi everybody, it's Don with Be Safe. I hope you've had an opportunity to read the white paper regarding template-based policy compliance. What I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to give you an overview of the Be Safe compliance module. Secondly, I'm going to demonstrate how you can utilize this module to achieve template-based policy compliance. Thirdly, we're going to revisit the white paper and point out some of the benefits with regards to template-based policy compliance, and I'll point out different sections. I'll tie those benefits to different sections of the compliance module just to give you an idea of how to achieve template-based policy compliance and how to reap the benefit of the template-based policy concept. So, what is the Be Safe compliance module and how do we utilize it to achieve template-based policy compliance? With the Be Safe policy compliance module, we can create templates that can be utilized over and over again to make sure that our policies, whatever they may be, is in compliance. We can have templates for, PCI policy, for our SOX initiative, for our COVID standard, and for those system administrator who would like to have templates for password-related system values, we may have those as well. In my case here, I have a medium template and a high and a low. And I can utilize and I can use any one of these depending on how stringent I want my password policy to be. Um, so coming back here, one thing that I didn't mention is the ability for us to use those templates on the local system. And for those of us that have multiple systems across the network, we can certainly utilize those templates on the remote systems and or groups of system on our network. You know, the group, the ability to group system is a very unique function within BSafe, which is accomplished with the management module, which unfortunately I'm not going to have time to cover today. But you can certainly, add your system and group them into logical groups, and then use these templates to check against those groups. In essence, saving you lots of time. Um, Coming back to the local system, I just want to show you how to create a template really quickly here. For any one of these policies, I'm going to choose the PCI and I'm going to go ahead and click on Add Template here. And basically, this is a wizard that you're going to follow. It's a matter of 4 steps that you're going to follow, starting with choosing the template category, and then just follow the wizard, and then you're on your way to creating a template. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull up one of my existing templates here and show you what it's all about and explain the different areas of those templates. First of all, you have the general tab, which has general information, which is really useful for auditors and executives. We have this tab here, the template attribute tabs. This is the key to our templating here. So in my case, for PCI Section 8, which has to do with security system values, um, I have these values defined for all of these system value name. For example, inactivity of 15 minutes. This is going to session time people out after 15 minutes of inactivity. Acceleration interval for password of 90 days, and password minimum length is required to be at least 7 long. So once I have created this template, I can utilize it to check periodically, whether it be weekly, monthly, or quarterly. I can use that template to make sure that my system complies with my template here. Okay, so it's a matter when you want to check for deviation. It's just a matter of right-clicking here and submitting a job, and then check for deviation. Okay, and I can submit that job right now. And what the system is going to do is going to go out and compare the system value between the actual system value and my template values. All right, there it's come back, it's done, and then what I can do at this point, is to refresh the screen, and then the color of the icon is going to indicate for me whether, my system is in compliance with my template or not. All right, so it came back red still, indicating for me that there are deviation. And what I can do at this point is I can right click and I can choose view check results, which is going to reveal for me all the deviations from my run. Okay, for example, here, inactive job timeout, it should be 15 on my template here, and on the system it is 30, so it's indicating for me that it's deviating right now. Let me step down a couple of more. And as you can see here, password expiration interval should be 90 days. However, on the system, it is 120 days. All right, and you can step down through to see the other deviations here. Um, at this point, you probably be thinking, that's really nice. Now I can go to the command line and do a work system value, work sys val, and change and the system value to match my policy value. Well, that's great and all, but could you imagine spending the time to have to individually change every single one of these system values that are deviating? That's going to take a long time. So we've thought of that, and what we've included in the product is the ability for you to run a job to simply fix those deviation. And it's just a matter of right-clicking on the template that is deviating and then submit a job and fix all job. What this is going to do, it's going to go out and fix match the system value, change it to match the template values. Okay, I have an example here that I'm going to run really quickly that I'm going to submit a fix for just to show you what it looks like when it comes back. So as you can see so far, relatively quick and simple. It's a matter of just choosing what you want to do, and everything is very intuitive here in terms of configuration and what to do. Let me just go ahead and refresh the screen. And as you can see here in my example now, the system has gone out and made changes, so now I am in compliance again. All right. So it is relatively simple, very simple to create a template and utilize it to check on the local system or remote system. Um, Automation is a big thing today in the industry. About just about in any environment, automation is a must. So we've also thought of that also. So for any one of these templates, you can schedule them to be run every week, monthly, or quarterly by clicking on this check scheduler here. And for the fixed jobs for the templates that you are comfortable with after you've reviewed the deviation, you can schedule fixed jobs as well. Okay, so um, as you can see, very easy to work with here, creating templates, scheduling them, fixing them, and so on and so forth. Um, at this point here, one thing that I haven't mentioned so far is the ability to run these checks against local and remote system. So when you want to run this check for the remote system, it's a matter of just clicking on this All Systems tab here and choosing the local system, the remote system, or the group of system. And then the concept here, checking for deviation, is the same. And then fixing is also consistent as well. Um, at this point, I would like to take a few minutes and then refer back to the white paper that you've read, and kind of summarize the benefits of achieving or practicing template-based policy compliance, if you will. There are many benefits that were pointed out in the white paper. However, I have summarized them into 5 bullet points. The first being that you can easily protect consumer data. The second is to improve synergy between business and technology units. The third, centralized security policy enforcement. The fourth, separation of duty. And fifth, accelerate compliance timeline. Okay, so how do we exactly protect consumer data? Um, for my PCI policy, for a PCI section 7.1, for those of you that are familiar with it, this is where the PCI document requires that we protect consumer data. And let me just show you a sample of how I set up that template to protect consumer data, i.e. my sensitive files. All right. So in the selection criteria, I have defined the file that I'm going to be protecting, the card master file in that library there, and the attributes are the public will be excluded from having access, and only one user would have use access to the credit card master file, then that user is the CC user one, the credit card user one profile. Okay, and nobody else on the system. And so once I have these templates defined, I can schedule my checks to run weekly or quarterly to make sure that only credit card user one profile has access and nobody else. And if there are deviation, which in this case there are, I can submit a fix manually, or I can schedule the fix as well to always keep my consumer data protected. Okay. The second benefit is to improve synergy between business and technology units. Um, as you can imagine today, there are business people, there are executives, and there are auditors, and there are IT folks like yourselves. Okay, you may know how to refer to system values and understand exactly what they are. However, for business folks, they need a memo like this down here. Okay, you notice that what I've done is I've copied the exact text from the PCI document exactly here. An example would be 8.5.9, which requires that the user password be changed at least 90 days, every 90 days. All right. And 8.5.10 required a minimum password length of at least 7, as we saw earlier in my example there. So this is basically bridging the gap between technology personnel, IT personnel, and the business folks. Okay. The third benefit that the white paper mentioned is centralized security policy enforcement. Okay. I haven't spoke about this, but as you can see from within the BSafe compliance module, you can set up templates. You can check for deviations, and then you can enforce those templates for these different policies here. So one centralized location, one-stop shop, if you will, for all of your policy enforcement needs. Notice also that I haven't even had to go to the green screen yet. So centralized within the compliance module, you can comply with just about any policy out there. Um, the fourth benefit that I would like to talk about is separation of duty. Today, separation of duty in compliance is a huge thing, and the ability to separate duty is very important. Okay, so within the BSafe enterprise security software, you can utilize the BSafe administration role and choose and define the roles for the personnel accordingly. For the system administrator, you would allow access to everything here in terms of being able to create and maintain templates. For executives and auditors and the business folks, you would define a role for them to have access to just the compliance policy section here, whereby they can come in and they can run deviation checks and they can review the deviations, but they cannot create or maintain any templates for any policy here. All right, so separation duty is available and very easy to set up within the BSafe compliance module. The last benefit that I would like to speak about is the ability to accelerate compliance timeline. What that means is that you're going to be able to comply with all of your compliance regulations in a timely fashion. Okay, not only that, you're going to be able to do it on time, on budget, and at the same time, you're going to save a lot of time in the process. With that, I would like to go ahead and pause here and end the presentation. I hope the presentation has been helpful for everyone. And for those of you that would like more information, please give BSafe a call and we'd be more than happy to provide any additional information you would like. Thank you very much and have a great day.